Snap CBE crew. Paul George just announced that he's going to take a break from his podcast. Podcast P is officially retiring until the end of the season. As you heard in the intro, Podcast P decided to retire for the remainder of the season so that Paul George can focus on the remainder of the season. You see, Paul George still believes that the 76ers has a chance to be NBA championship contenders. But what Paul George failed to realize is the 76ers season is already over. You see, Podcast P has already uploaded more episodes of his podcast than Paul George has made shots during the season. It's almost like throughout Paul George's whole career, he's had a very hard time of reading the room. Ever since Paul George joined the 76ers, fans, including myself, and I'm not even a 76ers fan, have been begging Paul George to leave Podcast P alone and focus on him in the season. Focus on the team. Focus on playing better. Focus on hitting shots. Focus on being the Paul George that we all believe that you can be. Even though we all begged him to stop trying to be a podcaster during the NBA season, if you look at the stats, Paul George actually plays better after he uploads an episode of his podcast. Playoff P, Paul George actually scores more points, average more assists, and is way more efficient games played after he uploads an episode of his podcast. But none of that really even matters. The real reason why Podcast P should continue to podcast for the remainder of the season is because if the 76ers start winning, Sam Prestsley could potentially take the 76ers pick if the Sixers fall below the 6th pick in this upcoming draft. Now, the 76ers have already decided to bench Joel Embiid for the remainder of the season. And the Sixers are sitting 12th in the Eastern Conference, barely giving them a chance to even make the play-in game, which means there is no incentive for them to even play harder for the remainder of the season. And like I said before in my last video about the 76ers, tanking is what got them where they at now. So why not tank another season? Who really cares? If Paul George really wanted to be contenders this season, he should have retired Podcast P months ago. Now it's too late. Maxey really need help on his team. And tanking for the rest of the season will almost guarantee the 76ers a lottery pick, which they can use to grab a player that will complement Maxey. Paul George going out there and playing amazing basketball will only hurt the 76ers. So if you're a Sixers fan, you need to hop into Paul George's comment section and let him know that we need him to bring back Podcast P for the remainder of the season. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Do the 76ers actually have a chance to revive their season, or is it too late?